Many of the old ways of digital marketing, they don't work anymore. You've probably noticed as well that you watch a YouTube video or you follow a course and you try to implement it, but it's just not working out for you. Or you've even hired freelancers and you're not getting the traffic, you're not getting the leads and the conversions that you were hoping for. Welcome to the Create Grow Profit podcast. I'm Morris from CreateGrowProfit.com. And today I'm speaking to Peter Kalanda, who has 2 decades of experience in digital marketing. And we're going to talk about which of the old ways don't work anymore, and specifically 3 things that don't work anymore, and what you can do today in 2025 and beyond. Peter, thank you so much for being here. Where are you calling in from?
Hi, Morris. Thank you for having me. I am calling in from Los Angeles, California.
Before we dive into the old ways of digital marketing that don't work anymore, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your agency, Three Horizons Interactive, and also which types of clients come to you today.
The way that I got into digital marketing is kind of a strange path. I started out actually in the hospitality industry. I went to school for hospitality in Boston, managed a hotel in New York City for a couple of years. Ended and worked. I worked in Ernst and Young in that hospitality real estate practice. Then, as we all know, 2008 was a hard year for real estate. A lot of people in my division got laid off, but I kept in contact with a lot of people in the hotel industry. So one of the gentlemen that I work with, he started one of the first agencies or booking engines that for hotels. So you were able to go on a website, book a room, and that really didn't exist. This was in the late 90s, and he sold that, and I started working with him. It's a small agency startup, 4 or 5 people. We had to do everything. So I came in there from a financial perspective. I helped with like P&Ls and things like that, and just taught myself digital marketing. So we had to. We were picking up clients. We were doing SEO, which is search engine marketing. We did a lot of paid stuff with Google. Facebook started their ad platform around that time, so I'm very familiar with Facebook and Instagram and how that's evolved. Went well, but as some startups do, they don't work out. So I started to work for a textile company, which we made placemats for hotels and wall coverings for high-end places like Ritz-Carltons and things like that. And I started out just working with in their digital marketing team. Was able to grow their business, grow visitors, and that led to more conversions and sales. And I did that for about 3 years. And then I felt like it was time to go. I learned a lot, and I wanted to do kind of start my own agency. So we started Three Horizons Interactive. Been doing that for about 8 years now. We work with a lot of small businesses, startups, mid to sized businesses. We started out with hospitality, but that's grown to hospitality SaaS companies. I work with a Pilates studio. I work with a hauling company in Alabama. I work with a kids' toy manufacturer, and the way that I work is a lot of I like to be part of the team when I work with a client, and that's one of the things that when you ask what are things that aren't working, one of the things that I think that isn't working right now is kind of a lot of agencies and a lot of contractors or consultants come in and just have a set parameters or things that they do, and they try to do it for each company. And it just doesn't work that way. It's gotten so specific and tailored. Like every website is different. Every way that people do business is different. So you got to adapt to that. And that's that kind of what we do. We become part of their team. We like know our clients very, very well, even on a social basis. I'd like to be available. I mean, I'm so used to the hospitality 24/7 that sometimes I'm too available to the clients, just because I learned so much of what you just in the hospitality industry, you learn so much about connection. You learn about people and how people work and do things. So yeah, I hope that answered your question as to kind of what we're doing and where we are now.
Yeah, I work with a lot of coaches and they have the same energy that they really want to help their clients. They want to be there for them. They want to support them. But many times I see that's very valuable, but it's also difficult to communicate and sell
It
as
is.
a. How do you go about that? Is that something where you over deliver after you sign up a client, or is that something that really attracts new clients when they hear that you have that availability?
I think the hardest, the hardest part, I think, with any business is just getting someone on a phone to have a conversation. There's so many things out there, so much noise out there right now. There's all these cold emails. I mean, there's services that offer you 20, 30,000 emails a month. I get these things in my inbox. I'm sure you do too, where it's like you barely look at them. Most of the time you delete them. And I've tried these things, and it sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Some people could, it's good for them, but for me, it's better. Referrals and word of mouth have been great for me. And then just getting new leads or people on a call and just talking about what they need, what they're looking for, and spend time knowing someone before sending out. Like what is the cost? What's this type of service? So I like to have that conversation in the beginning. Let's just say that I hit a certain, tell a certain price for the service, but if it's too high for the client, let's talk about it. Let's, make sure what's fit. Maybe things that we could drop, we could not include this time. As your business grows, we could add these things on. So, I'm the good thing about our agency is we can almost work with anyone at any budget. I've done a website for $500, and I also done a full website for 15, $20,000. So it's very customizable. We treat everyone the same and offer the same type of services.
That leads into a second thing that doesn't seem to work anymore, and that's the advice of only do what scales.
Yeah,
And as I hear you share how you approached, you said it perfectly. The hardest part is getting someone on a call.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I feel like, especially new solopreneurs, they're so bought into the mantra of, you're doing it online, you're doing it digitally. The power is that you can scale massively, you can scale fast.
yeah,
So the tendency is to not value these one-on-one connections, these one-on-one opportunities, because
yep.
I only have so many hours per day. I don't want to be talking to people all day, all day long, selling my time, quote unquote, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like you said, it's tough to get someone on a call. It's one of the things that when I do get someone on a call, um, the old things like you have to have a foundation to grow, and a lot of businesses I feel like and websites and just don't have that or are missing um, the technical side of things where you can take a little bit of time and have your website, your business, the proper backbone of digital marketing. And then you do that, then there's so much room for growth because all these different types of services work together. Like if you're doing SEO, you're doing which is search engine optimization, you're doing SEM, which is search engine marketing, organic works with these things. So you have to have the right titles, descriptions, all these things are working together and all is social media, all this stuff, all these different channels. If you have that backbone fundamental ready to go, then scale is not an issue. But you just have to work with the right person. And I don't think you can have a 5 minute email or not 5 minute, 5 minute conversation or an email exchange. Someone sends you a proposal that's boilerplated with your name. We can do this, we can do that without having a discovery call. We're having a conversation without going back and forth sometimes. So those fundamental things will scale. If you go with someone who's just doing boilerplate stuff, it's just not going to work.
Do you have calls and conversations with people only if they're interested in your services?
No, I have calls just to talk, just to be like, hey, what are you doing in the industry? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What's going on? What's going on with AI? How's AI? How is SEO dead? I don't think it is. I have those conversations all the time with just people in the industry and friends. So yeah, it's not always about getting a proposal, getting a work, getting a new client. It's about just learning and keeping informed.
So it sounds like you're being curious about other people's industries. That's the primary driver for these conversations.
Yeah, and it's my our services are very industry agnostic, so we can work with anyone. Like these fundamental things are are scalable and can be implemented for any business.
You brought up the website and the fundamental backbones several times now.
Yeah.
First question, what do you say to the advice that you don't need a website anymore to grow a six-figure coaching business or solopreneur business or service-based business?
I mean, you need a website. It can be a one pager, it can be two or three, four or five pages. I would recommend still more. Because how are people going to find you? People still look for your website first. I think for example, I redid my attic last week. We had to put new insulation. The first thing I did was go to Google, and now even ChatGPT or Perplexity, and type in what's the best attic removal, insulation company in LA. And the first thing I did was look at the website, look at the reviews. Um, what are people saying about them? So the more content you have on a website, the more authentic it is, the more chance you have for people seeing your site, seeing what you do, and converting, to a conversation. Um, it's the first point of contact for everything right now. Still, there's different ways to get to that site now, and now websites you have to be ready. You have to have FAQs now. You have to have question based answers and questions, because those are all the LLMs, which are ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini. They're reading all these things, so you want to make sure you're ready for that. It's not like SEO is not dead. It's becoming this GEO, I think they call it now, is the generative engine. There's so many different names, but it's like a new channel that's coming. So it's like SEO, SEM, GPT, all these AI search engines. It's like a new channel you have to kind of work with and make sure you're optimized for. So, and the
Yeah.
website is the starting point for everything. And then you want to make sure that you have the fundamentals to be able to search about not only on Google but also these large language models.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it's true that the LLMs they often also link back to the websites. So, and I even heard the same thing from authors now. And I'm sure not all authors agree with that, and depends fiction, nonfiction. But I've heard several authors say in interviews that they're now writing books for AI because they know that more people are gonna discover the contents of their books
Mm,
by querying or prompting an LLM, and the LLM read the book and is going to refer to that book. So by writing books that's for AI, that's how they can reach more readers, even if they, well, some of them might then order the book, or they at least they get parts of the book, and the LLM also quotes the author.
yeah, and then it's important to have that authoritative content. You want to have your author name, whether it be you or someone contributing on your site, so that these LLMs can see that you're someone who knows what they're talking about in the space.
Yeah, it's like a new kind of Google, and we're only just discovering how
Yeah, yeah,
that's gonna refer back to our businesses.
yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see how everything you know pans out in the next couple of years, because it's moving so fast.
One thing that you also do is that you audit people's websites for free, so that
Hmm. Hmm.
you make sure, or they can be sure that they have all the right elements. Tell us a bit more about that.
This goes back to just my background. Real quickly, I um, immigrated here from the former Czechoslovakia with my family, 1983. Just know how to kind of the struggle, I guess. Working in hospitality, just like wanting to help people and make sure they succeed. So offering a 15 to 20-minute audit of a website is just something that I like to do, because there's always certain takeaways and things that any business owner can implement on their own, rather than just hire someone. There's a lot of technical things that I will find, and at least they know, so they can either work with me, or if they already have an agency, they can kind of just mention this. Um, and it's just literally helping. I mean, it just makes me feel good that I'm accomplishing something, and also and the prospective client or customer just kind of you know sees things that they maybe didn't see before. Because a lot of people, just do their website, leave it there, and you know maybe it does bring leads, maybe it doesn't. Um, but there's always errors. There's always something wrong. I mean, there's a example I like to say is that a couple of months ago I was working with a prospective client, and one of the first things I look at is like, hey, is your website readable by the search bots? And their whole website was blocked. So they weren't even searchable by Google or Bing or anything like that. And that's an easy fix. It's almost like a slide of a button,
Yeah.
you know? So things like that. Like there's always something.
And why was their website blocked?
Whoever built it or optimized it just never
Oh,
realized it happened.
okay, and I get it. So it wasn't that they had a bunch of images with text on it. They literally blocked the indexing.
The indexing, yeah. So it was like the robot.txt file, which allows search engines and search bots to, just crawl your site. Um, it just wasn't properly implemented.
Yeah, you're so right. These little technical things, they can be so easy to overlook, especially if someone's not versed in creating websites. So if someone wants a free 15-minute website audit with you, where do they go?
You can email me directly. It's peter@3h-i.com. You can also visit my website. There's a contact form there. That's again 3h-i.com or 3horizonsinteractive.com, and it redirects because I know that's a lot to type.
What I'll do is people who watch or listen, they heard your email address, but I'm not gonna write your email address in the description so the scrapers can't scrape it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I
But
want that.
I will link to the contact form on your website in the description below the video.
And one of the other things that we can also get into is every website has keywords that are bringing users to their site, and there's a lot of keywords that are in that second or third page that just need a little bit of a boost. What I like to call, and people like to call, is low hanging fruit, where you can just minor tweaks to a page, and then you'll be able to see results much sooner than later. Because SEO, we like to say, it's the long game. It's like planting a seed and letting it grow. Um, Usually I like to work with people 3 to 6 months, but sometimes you can see, I've just seen results in like 1 or 2 weeks just because of these minor tweaks. So it's very, very helpful.
So I want to talk to you about two more subjects. One is going back to the backbone of a digital business. If you can give us the structure that you think is the foundation that must be built
Yeah.
properly, and then also circling back to the opening question is three things that just don't work anymore in digital marketing. So can you give us just an overview of the structure that you see is the backbone of a digital business?
There's a couple of core things that you want to make sure that you're doing. And this is just this is a little bit technical, but you want to make sure you have your titles and descriptions, with keywords and that are telling the user what this site is about. Because not when you go and type a keyword into Google and now these LLM things, you want to come up and with that keyword in those titles and descriptions. And that's what shows up in Google search. Like when you're typing, you see the paid and you see the organic. You want to make sure your images are named for people so Google sees those images and can know what they are. Like I always see an image named, MG456735.
When you say named, are you referring literally to the file name or to the alt attribute?
Alt 100%. You want to make sure the alt text is that. But if you can, even the file name.
Yeah.
That in an ideal perfect world, you want to have the file name with the image name and then the alt text. I mean, it's hard to do when you're an e-commerce site with thousands of images, but it's worth the effort and the time.
And also AI can rename thousands of images for you now.
Exactly. Now, there's plugins. WordPress has plugins. Shopify has plugins where it can do most of this stuff for you, which is super, super helpful. But you always want to make sure and check them. You don't want to just click, have the AI do the work, and then publish it. You want to make sure that these images are named right to what you they should be. So there's always you always want a human to check the quality of this work, whether it be. And another point is just the fundamentals is having content on the site where it's specific to what you're trying to sell. Like a blog page is, I would say it's a must. It's not you must have it now. It's not like something that you should think about. You should have it and just write authentic content. Use AI for your starting point. Have a content writer or editor look at that and review it. There's
Mhm.
so much content on there where it's just copy paste from whatever LLM you're out there, and
Yeah.
it's just you can me and you Morris probably can probably tell if it's AI when you read it.
Yeah, and there's AI checkers too, right? And Google is implementing them, Amazon is implementing them. They run these checks and they can identify these patterns. And
Yeah,
there's like a percentage graph. This text is 91%. There's a 91% likelihood this is written by AI. And
exactly.
so all of this is only going to get more advanced.
Oh, right, exactly. So yeah, it's just backlinks. Making sure you're looking at your backlinks. If sites that are linking to you, do you want these sites linking to you? Maybe they're decreasing your search ability. So metadata, titles, descriptions, images, backlinks. Um, Make sure your content form is working. That's a huge thing. I've worked with websites where I just go and use their contact form. It's either broken or no one ever gets the message. So there's a lot of like basic things that you want to make sure that you're getting because you can do all this work, and if no one can reach you, what's the point?
Or it lands in spam. The email sent by the contact form lands in spam, right?
Yeah, yeah. The spam. It's you want to make sure you have recapture on your site. You want to make sure that it's yeah. You just got to keep testing these forms and making sure you got recapture is huge now. So yeah, and don't put your name, don't put your handle, don't put info at or anything Peter at on a site because you'll get spam. Contact form is always best.
So all of this is very specific to the website. Is that your approach to all digital business where the website is the foundation, that's the hub, and that must be optimized first?
Yeah, so that's the foundation, that's the hub, and then we go into and look at your social media. Do you have First thing I do when I work with a client who wants to get into social media, do you have all your handles? Do you have your names, your brand names? You don't have to necessarily use TikTok right now. You don't have to use LinkedIn, but do you have your handles just in case you want to use it in the future? So that's definitely one of the things you want to look at. But yeah, everything starts from the website. I know there's a lot of people just doing businesses on TikTok now too, and that's growing. So some people don't have websites, but the foundation is still that. And then we talk about social media. Then we talk about influencers, like a lot of brick and mortar people, clients that I work with, do want influencers. That's still a hot topic. But yeah, that's the starting point.
I used to work as a web developer and like I would work on teams or even work alone and just build websites. And when I was doing that work, a big reason why I pivoted from that to doing consulting is because I got kind of frustrated. I mean, I got paid for the work, but while building the website, I knew that that website is very expensive and it's gonna lead to nothing because it looks beautiful, but it's not gonna generate any traffic.
Yeah.
Just building the website, is that really enough for them to get traffic? Because I usually don't see that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not enough. I mean, yeah, if you're first starting out, if you're just like a new domain, you're building the site. The traffic is not. If you do nothing, just build a website. Yeah, you have some like fundamental technical SEO. Um, Not much is going to happen. And like you said, like if the site looks beautiful, but if there's too much going on and you're not getting the right message, if you don't land on a website and know what it's about in the first 2 or 3 seconds, you're not going to get anyone to convert or want to work with you. There's so many websites that I work with. They're just like you land on them and You just don't know what they're about. So you got to have the clear, right message, not crazy, um, crazy like designs and flashy things and things like that. Um, then it's more likely to convert. But you have to get people to the site. There's ways to do that. I mean, the easiest way to do it right away is just spending a little bit of advertising on Google and Facebook and seeing what works. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars, but like, hey, let's see, does this work? Does that work? Some of it, it's a good testing ground with paid to seeing what keywords to attract you to a site, and then you can implement those keywords and turn it into a blog post and just talking about that how the people where they landed and what they searched for, and then you can turn it into fresh new content, and that only will help your organic growth, and then will also help your paid, because organic and paid work together. Like if you don't have a certain keyword and you're bidding for it on Google, you're just going to pay $5 when someone is paying $1 because the content is there.
That's a really solid strategy to get started, Peter. So build the website with a good technical foundation, book a 15-minute audit with you, make sure it's all set up properly, and then take a little bit of money. What do you recommend? $300, $500 to start running some ads?
Yeah, I would say yeah, two, 300, two, $500. Um, Run some ads. Just make sure that you are targeting your area. If you're a brick and mortar in North Dakota, you don't want to be bidding for keywords in Texas. There's a lot of times when I either help someone with their AdWords account or Facebook account. They're just not targeting correctly, and they're spending way too much money on keywords that are too like hotels in New York City. There's no way you're going to be able to rank for that. If you do a little bit of long tail and like focus local, it's gonna work. So you're gonna make sure you have your targeting set up correctly. The smaller the net, the smaller your location. If you're a brick and mortar, there's a certain people that you're trying to reach. If it's more nationwide, yeah, but you can target so many ways now. Zip code and radius and all that stuff. It's gotten pretty impressive from when I started out, both Facebook and Google, how they're marketing to where it's now. It's kind of amazing. Just be careful with your budget. You don't want to overblow. You can easily spend $500 in one day if you don't set it up correctly. So you just got to be very careful.
Okay, so then run that campaign, be very specific with the targeting, and then pay attention to the keywords that get you the most clicks. And for each of these keywords, start creating content. One article, one blog post, or even a series, right? And linking them together.
Series, we can even talk about it on LinkedIn. Link to your website and become that authoritative person in that space. Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. That's a really solid starting strategy, Peter. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So then, final words, warning signs. Okay, we've talked a lot about what works and our recommendations. So what are the three things that you would people warn about, and they might have worked in the past, but they don't work consistently anymore today?
One of the biggest things is just like, and this is, I still see this, and I know people probably know how to do this already. Just like, be careful of how much keywords you put into content. I mean, I still see websites where it's I'm just going to just a random phrase. Again, I always go to hospitalize, like hotel in New York City, 20 times, like 10 times on a homepage.
Yeah.
That's just a killer. That's just something that was done 20 years ago when Google first came about. The keyword stuffing, the directory listings, the backlinks that people paid for. And these companies are still out there. The backlink things, someone could weasel in and get you in, but oh, I can, have the New York Times and this and stuff like that post to your site. There's no way. Like if so you just have to be careful of that stuff.
So two mistakes are keyword stuffing, overdoing it with the keyword.
Yeah,
Just use the keyword in the title, be organic about it. And the second thing is buying backlinks.
buying backlinks. Yeah, I mean, a safe way to look at keywords is maybe two or three times in the content, but then you put it in your title, put it in your your image, and there's other certain ways that there's a lot of tools that can help you. And say, like, you put in a keyword, put in a link, and it'll kind of help you where should I put this keyword in. Yeah. And then you just be careful of like the snake oil salesman, as they used to say back in the day. A lot of people are going to promise a lot of things and just don't deliver. They say, you're going to be working with this so and so, and then you get to work with a kind of a junior level person who doesn't really know what they're doing yet. I mean, I was in that position 2 years ago, just starting out. But you just got to be careful what people promise you, and the cost of things. There's a lot of agencies. You can see that something that costs $5,000 can be done for 500. So you just want to make sure you're looking at more than one. You're talking it through, and just be careful.
Yeah, what I hear you say is the templates don't work anymore.
No, no. Yeah, you got to be. Every business is just the way that these algorithms are working now. You can spot these things from a mile away, and every business is specific, and they want to specifically target certain things. So it's just not templatized. Is hard now.
Yeah, not only is every business specific, also their target audience is specific, and that
Target audience is different, yeah, and their target audience could only, they're not on, they're not on social media. They're on TikTok. Like, how do I get these people to go to my website, buy my product, and convert? They're online. They're not just going to stores. They're not walking into a store anymore. People are everywhere now. So to see where we were when I first started to where we are now. It's amazing.
yeah, right. Then you need to enable TikTok shopping. People make purchases directly inside the TikTok app.
Inside the app, you gotta make yeah, and then, you still have to have a CMS to be able to, you have to have like a Google My Shop. You have to have where these products are stored and convertible, so you can track these things. Another thing is, make sure you have analytics on your website, and make sure you're looking at your analytics. Then how are you going to know where your customers are coming from? If you build a website and then just be like, oh, okay, they're purchasing, but where are they coming from? If you're seeing a lot of people purchase from North Carolina, why is that? What's going on in North Carolina? Only way you're going to know that is if you see these analytics, and you're looking at your back end.
Peter, thank you so much for giving such detailed advice and hands-on strategies. I will link to your website, Three Horizons Interactive. And again, for people who want a 15-minute website audit, which I highly recommend, Peter, you shared so many technical details. I think just talking to you for 15 minutes is a way more time efficient way to get a rundown of it for our own website. So I will link to your contact form, or else please repeat your email one more time.
Peter at 3h-i.com. Website is 3h-i.com. Or, Google me, Three Horizons Interactive.
Yeah, perfect. Just, yeah, Google Peter. Peter, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Morris. It was great.